Remember the text that I sent to Gary about 3 years ago, probably now. It went something along the lines of, "Hey, my dad's been diagnosed with cancer, and kind of the stress and anxieties of life were starting to take a pretty firm hold, both on me personally, but my relationship with Brittany, my kids, and So little did I know that my life was about to take a very sudden turn in a different direction. And an invitation to coffee led to an invitation to learn, which in turn led to an unexpected invitation to love. And over the last several years, a very clear question started to kind of develop within me. And that was, who am I following? Right? I've learned that pretty much everybody is following somebody or something. Put another way, everyone is a disciple. And so the question for me was not whether or not I am a disciple, it was, what am I a disciple of? And for many, it's social media personalities or unrealistic expectations that we have. For others, it's the urge to drink or to numb. But for me, it was very clearly fear. A very real, tangible, physical, and emotional thing that pretended to kind of be my light, so to speak. A source of safety, a source of control over the uncontrollable, and a protecting barrier, if you will, against kind of the ebb and flow of everyday life. And what's kind of funny about that is that the very thing that promised to protect me was actually doing the complete opposite. And so there I was with some of my life's greatest fears staring me right in the face, right? The increasing probability of losing my dad and the potential loss of Brittany. Matthew 16:24 through 26 says, and this is from the Message, "Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead. You are not in the driver's seat, I am. Do not run from your suffering, but embrace it. Follow me, and I will show you how." And so I accepted his invitation, and I learned as much as I possibly could. Conversation after conversation, book after book, podcast after podcast, sermon after sermon, verse after verse. And I learned very personally that following Christ was so much more than just going to church or believing the right things and doing the practices, although these are very important. Following Christ was and is a way of life. It's a radical new viewpoint led by love. A love that is not demanding, not reactionary, not impatient or easily angered. It's love that kind of has more of a personality like an old man playing chess in the park than a CEO occupying a high-rise. It's a love whose natural state is relaxed, listening, easy to be around, and whose spirit is gentle, its touch is kinder, and who will always just kind of say, "Sit, I have time for you." Whether that's in a church, whether it's in a bedroom, whether it's on the car on the side of the road, right? As he told the woman at the well, the time is coming, it has in fact come, when what you're called will not matter, and where you go to worship will not matter. It's who you are and the way you live that counts before God. That's pretty incredible, if you ask me. And so I chose to kind of use this love in Christ as a replacement, as a source of safety, use this love in Christ as a source of control over the uncontrollable, and use this love in Christ as a protecting barrier against the ebb and flow of everyday life. And as I practiced this new way, I could feel my own heart change. And as a result, my faith started to grow. My pride moved to compassion, my fears began to shift to hope, and my heart longed to learn more and draw closer to him. Ezekiel 36:26 says, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. And I'd say that probably just about nails it for me. Now, I am not by any means a perfect husband or father or friend, and I still miss the mark more often than I would care to admit. But I have learned to turn my helpless reliance on fear into being helplessly reliant on the very love of God who is helping me learn to enjoy the moments and relationships that I will forever wish to return to when they long come and passed. Now, Brittany can attest to the fact that I still fail, but I hope she can also attest to the fact that I try to see every missed mark as an opportunity to learn, to forgive, and to recalibrate my life to be continually directed, motivated, and inspired by Christ and the way that he modeled. So fast forward a little bit to this past fall, and Gary and I were talking about Britt and I becoming covenant partners. We talked about what that was, but also what my involvement may be in GBC in the future and the programs and groups that I might help out with. And he talked to me about baptism. And to be completely honest, I never really thought much about baptism, other than that it looked kind of uncomfortable. Usually, if you know me, the only water I willingly get into tends to be about 85 degrees, and it's usually located in the southern hemisphere. So the thought of dunking myself publicly in a big tank of water was a little bit intimidating. But I guess that's kind of the point, right? To embrace the uncomfortable, fall back trusting in the truth, wash away the ways of yesterday, and commit to following in this kind of new way in Christ. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. So that's it.